For more on the factors moving the energy market, let's bring in Halima Croft, Global Head of Commodity Strategy at RBC Capital Markets. Nice to have you back here, Halima. 87.05, the price for WTI keeps inching higher here, along with the U.S. dollar, which is interesting and doesn't always happen. What do we expect out of OPEC next week?
I think OPEC will go forward with their 400,000 barrel a day production increase that they're doing every month. But the problem is they're not actually hitting that number. There's several producers that are not reaching their OPEC quota. And so the real concern is how much OPEC spare capacity do we actually have? We know Saudi Arabia can put more barrels on the market. We know Iraq, Kuwait, and UAE have some additional barrels. But the rest of OPEC, the concern is, are they basically tapped out? And if we do get some type of geopolitical situation where we were to lose Russian volumes or simply be concerned that we have some spike in prices on a fear premium, how much more oil is out there immediately to cap the upside?
So it sounds like you still see prices potentially moving higher here. Is that right?
It depends on what scenario we're looking at. Sarah, do I see a path to $100 oil? Absolutely. If those Russian tanks roll over the border into Ukraine, we will absolutely, I think, be talking about $100 oil. The question is, in the absence of that, are we going to be floating around the 90s for a while? And I think that is the concern is, yes, U.S. production is set to grow this year, but right now this market is looking very tight, and it doesn't look like OPEC has that much more to give. Saudi Arabia has more barrels. But the question is, can we get more barrels out of them if we need them?
Halima, how easy is it going to be, both in the short term and the medium term, for Europe to kind of find other supplies if necessary, whether that's coming from the Middle East or coming from the U.S. or wherever?
The Emir of Qatar is going to be in Washington on Monday. He's going to be at the White House for this meeting on global energy security. Qatar is just one of the countries that the United States is making a big appeal to try to get additional gas volumes into Europe. One of the challenges, though, is many of these countries have already contracted their volumes to Asia. Now, Asia is having a milder winter, and so part of the discussion is, can we get Japan, South Korea to free up volumes and send them to Europe? But that is the situation we're in right now. And again, it all comes down to, do we actually get an invasion of Ukraine? Does Russia weaponize energy exports? And are we talking about mitigation efforts, or can you actually backfill a Russian loss? I don't think anyone is out there saying if Russia were intent on disrupting serious volumes into Europe, that you can find that much gas to fill a major Russian disruption.
And then, Halima, just quickly, how significant? Sorry, Sarah. How significant is what the U.S. GDP figure is for, let's say, the second half of this year, particularly if geopolitical concerns have eased by then, in terms of the price you come out for your year-end target for oil? And if we do see a little bit of a slowdown, will that have a big effect?
Certainly we are watching the U.S. demand story. U.S. demand is such a big part of the oil demand story. Our expectation is that we're going to grow by 4.3 million barrels a day year on year. And so, if we had any major slowdown in the United States, that would be concerning. But right now, this looks like a market that is being well supported on the demand side.